Have you ever wondered who you really are? Just you, or part of something bigger? Is your identity about your personal choices, or is it shaped by your family, faith, or community? This isn't just a late-night thought. It's a question shaping our world. It's the tension between the individual and the group, the me versus the we. How we answer this affects who we trust, support, and sometimes oppose. At the heart of this is communalism. Communalism is the belief that your main loyalty belongs to your religious, ethnic, or cultural group, not the nation as a whole. It's the force that makes people say, "My community comes first." Sometimes that's beautiful. Other times, it gets messy. Communalism is like invisible software running society, shaping how groups interact. In today's divided world, this software is getting a chaotic update. So let's unpack where this idea came from, how it's playing out, and why it matters. Even if you think you're just on Team Me, this is a story about us and the tribes we belong to. So, what is communalism? It's when your main loyalty is to your community, defined by religion, ethnicity, or culture. It's not just about celebrating traditions, it's a mindset that puts your group's interests above all else. Imagine society as an apartment building. In communalism, you care more about your own apartment than the whole building. This often happens when a group feels threatened by a larger dominant one. People band together for protection, power, or resources. But here's the catch. Communalism defines itself by drawing lines. Us versus them. What starts as protecting your culture can turn into rivalry and division. The building becomes a collection of fortresses, not a shared home. Communalism isn't new. It's shaped history for centuries. In ancient Rome, local loyalties outlasted the empire, resurfacing when central power weakened. Medieval Europe was a patchwork of villages and tribes, until kings forced national identities, often brutally. Old loyalties went underground, waiting for their moment. Colonialism changed the game. The British in India used divide and rule, amplifying religious differences and creating separate electorates for Hindus and Muslims. This institutionalized division, setting the stage for the violent partition of India. In the modern era, the collapse of multi-ethnic states like Yugoslavia and the Soviet Union unleashed wars as groups fought for their own nations. The Rwandan genocide and Middle East conflicts show how communalism can be weaponized. Even in a globalized world, the pull of the tribe remains strong. Borders, politics, and millions of lives are shaped by this force. Communalism can unite or destroy, depending on how it's used. It's a reminder. The us versus them instinct is ancient, but its consequences are very real. Understanding it is key to understanding our world. Let's see communalism in action around the world. In India, religious and caste divisions shape politics and sometimes erupt into violence. Politicians use religious rhetoric to mobilize voters, turning policy debates into battles for identity. In Rwanda, colonial powers hardened Hutu and Tutsi identities, fueling resentment and eventually genocide. Propaganda turned neighbors into enemies, leading to horrific violence. In the Middle East, the Israeli-Palestinian conflict is rooted in competing communal narratives, each side's identity tied to land, history, and survival. Compromise feels like betrayal when identity is at stake. In Yugoslavia, ethnic groups lived together until nationalist leaders stoked old grievances, leading to brutal wars and ethnic cleansing. Communalism can turn diverse societies into battlegrounds. The lesson: when leaders exploit identity, the results can be catastrophic. Understanding these stories helps us see the warning signs. Communalism isn't all bad. It can be a superpower. Strong communities provide support in tough times, like immigrant groups helping newcomers or religious groups running food drives. It preserves culture, festivals, languages, and traditions that might otherwise disappear. Economic cooperation thrives in tight-knit groups, from rotating credit associations to business networks. For marginalized groups, communal solidarity is a ladder to opportunity. It's also fueled historic movements for justice, like the American Civil Rights Movement and South Africa's anti-apartheid struggle. When a group faces oppression, communal identity becomes a tool for survival and resistance. Community can empower, protect, and inspire. Harnessed well, it builds resilience and drives progress. But communalism has a dark side. Creating a strong us often means demonizing them. This leads to exclusion, discrimination, and social silos. Democracy suffers when politics becomes a battle of tribes, not ideas. Bloc voting and nepotism can stifle talent and innovation. Economies stagnate when opportunity depends on connections, not merit. The worst outcome? Violence. When leaders use hate to mobilize, conflict follows. What starts as protection can end in bloodshed. Communalism's power to unite can just as easily destroy. Enter the internet, communalism's new amplifier. Social media spreads rumors and propaganda at lightning speed, reinforcing group narratives. Algorithms create echo chambers, showing us only what we already believe. This digital segregation deepens real-world divides. Online anonymity emboldens extremists, making fringe voices seem mainstream. The result? More polarization, less dialogue. Online hate can spill into real-world violence, as seen in Myanmar and India. Technology connects us, but also gives us new tools to divide. Managing communalism is now more urgent and more complicated than ever. So, how do we get the good without the bad? The answer: balance. Countries like Canada build a shared civic identity while celebrating diversity. Legal protections for minorities and strong anti-discrimination laws are essential. People need to feel secure in their rights to avoid defensive communalism. Dialogue matters. Integrated schools, mixed neighborhoods, and public programs bring people together. When you know someone from another group, stereotypes fade. Real connection replaces fear. Building bridges is slow, but it's the best antidote to division. Communalism is a powerful force. Like fire, it can build or destroy. It gives us identity, belonging, and strength, but can also fuel hatred and violence. The challenge is to be aware of this force in ourselves and our societies. Understanding communalism helps us see when it unites and when it divides. We must ask, is this policy for the common good or just one group? Are leaders building bridges or stoking fear? The direction communalism takes is a choice, ours as individuals and as a society. We can build bridges or walls, we can celebrate diversity and embrace our shared humanity, or retreat into tribalism. Being aware makes us better citizens of the world. The future isn't written. We have the power to harness the best of our need to belong. The choice is ours.